Is there not an entire section on this subject?
Yes, but so it's unfair. I may have changed my mind about ether, for example.
Is your book for sale in the back?
Yes.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure. I just go and try and do a better job.
Say it like you mean it. This is my Bible.
Yo, Trey,
What up?
I got something to say.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let Me Tell You, episode 116. I'm your host, Norm, the Master's Dog Dunham, a.k.a. the Evangelical Norm. So, the title of this week's podcast is, Are You Freaking Kidding Me? And I could probably just change the name of the entire podcast to that with the way things go in the news nowadays, and we could go on and 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 on. But I won't do that to you. We'll just go on and on and on, and then we'll stop. So apparently this last weekend, oh, by the way, if you haven't noticed, it's Thursday. This podcast usually comes out on, well, it used to come out on Monday. I've decided it's just a Tuesday morning podcast because Mondays are brutal. So it's now a Tuesday morning podcast, but it is Thursday, and there is a reason. I don't know if I was in YouTube jail for something I said in the past or something that somebody complained about. I know I made somebody mad with my whole Canada episode, and be prepared. They're coming back again today. So I don't know if I was complained about and I got put in jail. I could not for days. I didn't try to upload anything on Thursday or Friday, but when I tried to upload the False Teacher of the Week and the Master's Dog episodes on Saturday, nothing would upload to YouTube. Tried again on Sunday, nothing would upload to YouTube. Tried again on Monday, nothing would upload to YouTube. Tuesday night, afternoon, I was actually able to get a couple of videos, the False Teacher of the Week and the Master's Dog, re-recorded and re-uploaded. I did all kinds of stuff. I messed with the videos thinking it was like resolution or I don't know. But nothing would upload to YouTube. I never got any emails or anything from YouTube saying that I was in YouTube jail. So I don't know. I just don't know what it was. But for about 4 days there, nothing would upload to YouTube. I don't know if it was an update on my computer that went goofy, Chrome, you name it. Any number of things. There's a 1,000 points of failure in there that could have been it, or I just could have been in YouTube jail. Because it's not like I don't say anything that usually would get me put into YouTube jail, and I've just flown under the radar for a long period of time, and maybe they just caught up with me. Maybe the magic number is 188 subscribers, or something. I don't know. Something happened. Couldn't upload anything. So my apologies that this is so many days late. But again, I recorded the video on Monday morning or on Tuesday morning, and it just wasn't working. I messed with it and just futzed it all up. So we are starting over on Thursday. So again, my apologies. Hopefully next week everything will work right, or today is going to put me back in YouTube jail. I don't know. We'll see. But so this past weekend was the G7 conference, which is, I don't know what G7 even stands for. Does anyone know? Because it's been I've seen it as G6, I've seen it as G8, I've seen it as G10. It's like the biggest countries, is it like greatness or greedy? Or, who knows? But they met together, and it included Biden and Putin and what's his name, crazy dude from England, and Boris Jackson or Johnson or whatever that guy's name is. So yeah, all these people got together and had a little get together and a powwow, and Joe Biden was just as confused as he's ever been confused. And come on now, are you freaking kidding me? How is it that on June 17th, I mean, well over 120 days into his administration, that's the word I'm looking for. I mean, I think we are At this point, today's like the 169th day of the year. So we're like 129. 104. I can't do math. June 20 or January 20th was when he was inaugurated. So yeah, do the math. We're like 140 days into this dude, 150 days into this dude's administration, and he has been confused since the beginning. And I know I made the joke. I made the prediction, the joke that like 25 minutes in, 25th Amendment was going to be invoked, and I've made the pictures and the memes. You've seen them. What's her name? That Vice President, that Kamala Harris, that lady. I made the pictures of her saying, somebody help me fill this out. How do you spell Joe Biden? Right? And I made the prediction, and I really did. I really thought that they were going to put this dude out to pasture. But, I mean, they continue to parade him around the globe. The guy that seriously has very little mental capacity left. Memory is going, everything. I mean, like 3 times during this last week, he talked about, instead of Syria, he referred to it as Libya, which I guess, I mean, that's not horrible, but you would think somewhere in the, at some point in time, someone would have corrected him or something. And then you got video of him just wandering aimlessly through restaurants and people asking him questions and like the 1,000-yard stare. This guy has some form of dementia. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's. I don't know what it is. If it's just classic old style senility, what? But are you kidding me? It is time to. I mean, it is beyond time. It is almost embarrassing. I would figure the countries around the world are laughing at us because of the bumbling that our president does. And it's not his fault. That's the problem. The problem is it's not his fault. He's old. He's been in government for 47, 48, way too many years. And he is just moving on. It is time to retire and time to, put him out of the public eye, let him go through this gracefully, peacefully, without being paraded around in a fishbowl. I mean, again, this is fodder for the conservative news reels. This is Sean Hannity's wet dream, right? This is Steven Crowder is just salivates over every single video that comes out of this of Joe Biden, right? I can't imagine. I mean, I hear once in a while those guys. I don't watch Fox News anymore. My mother-in-law does, so I catch Hannity and Tucker and The Five and stuff every once in a while when I'm walking through the upstairs area and outside of my dungeon. My wife listens to and watches Crowder, so I catch him from time to time. I don't hate Crowder. I just hate the words and the foul language and the off-color jokes and stuff like that get made there. Brandon Tatum, I'm not listening to that dude. But these are guys that just jump all over. These are the guys that the left media, the liberal media, the leftist media describes when they say Republicans pounce. These are the guys that pounce. But the problem is you're making it too easy. It is low-hanging fruit to pounce on because this guy should not be president. One, we can get into the whole thing, and I'm probably going to do an episode as more information about Fulton County, Georgia, and the fact that 1 out of 4, nearly a quarter of all the ballots in question have no chain of custody. I have some people that I used to have as friends on Facebook that I finally ended up just blocking. Rarely do I block anybody, but it got to the point where there were certain people that I had to block because they kept going, there's no evidence. There's no evidence of voter fraud. What are you talking about? They literally clear people out of the room Well, they brought boxes out from under tables. Oh, nothing's questionable about that. And then to come to find out that a quarter of this stuff has no chain of custody. I expect full apologies from the people who said there's no evidence for voter fraud. Yeah, that's never going to happen. But the reality is voter fraud aside, Joe Biden should not be president because he does not have the mental capacity to do it. And the fact that, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, the fact that they keep parading him around the globe to make gaffe after gaffe after gaffe, and it's not even the Steve Deace definition of a gaffe, open your mouth and occasionally the truth comes out. These are just gaffes because he does not have the mental ability anymore to make sense in his statements. And yet we parade him around in public. I mean, obviously they try to keep him out of, where he's on candid camera. But they don't always succeed, and we look like a joke. And as much as I hate the idea of Kamala Harris being the president of the United States, it's time to retire old Joe, Crazy Joe, Uncle Joe, whatever it is you want to call him. I really hate that. I do. I'm not a fan of the nicknames that people give, right? Even people that I love. I mean, I love the dudes over at Cross Politic. I love Knox and Gabe and Toby. But when they start making, calling Kamala Harris Commie Harris and stuff like that, that bothers me. We're adults. We are the grown-ups in the room. We're supposed to be. And grown-ups don't call people names. I mean, I understand there's a level of mocking that is deserved. Yeah, Jesus, called Peter Satan, and he called Herod the fox and stuff like that. I get it. I get it. You have your reasons and have your reasons. I don't like it. That's a whole other tangent that we didn't even need to talk about. But really, are you freaking kidding me? Joe Biden needs to be retired. Please, it's time. It's time. Let him go. I can't imagine. I can't believe I'm trying to force the words out of my mouth. But give us Kamala. For kindness' sake, to this man, who as bad as he has been for decades, has made the attempt, and I hope that it's in good intentions, just poorly informed or whatever, but he served this country for years. He's been here for years. He's done many things, and as much as we don't like the things he's done, he's been that public servant, and it's time to retire him peacefully, and that's all I have to say about that. And now here we get if you're watching, okay, facial expression says 1,000 words. For those of you who are listening and you got stuck with like lots of seconds of dead air, I apologize, but are you freaking kidding me? For those who don't know the picture that just popped up on your screen, this is Mr. Jeffrey Tubin. This is a man that months ago, I don't know how many months ago, not that many. I mean, it's got to be within the last 4 months. I can't imagine that it was longer ago than that. Maybe it was. Time is incomprehensible to me at this point sometimes, the way things happen in our news cycle and in our country and in our politics and stuff like that. But this dude, on a Zoom call because of COVID, apparently he works for the New Yorker, which is, I guess, somehow connected with CNN, or he's a contributor to CNN or whatever. During a Zoom meeting where male and female co-workers were present on their computer screens watching and doing this guy. And every Zoom meeting I've been on, every Zoom thing I have done since COVID and we started doing it, and I've never done a Zoom thing because of COVID. I do Zoom meetings because I have conversations with people who are hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from me, and we can't get together in the same room, or else we would. But any Zoom meeting I've been on, this is what you see. Head and shoulders. And a few cool things in the background. Toys and CDs and, autographed stuff. You got, other side, you got an autographed Ivy Connerly. Don't Just Listen. Autographed Dusty Marshall. Right. This is what you see. Another autographed Ivy up there. One of my favorite albums. My daughter's favorite album. King of Kingdoms. So this is what you see. Why on earth do you have a full body camera upon you and then think that you are not on camera and that your microphone is muted and begin to masturbate during a staff meeting? Whether it's on Zoom or not, whether you're in your home or not, whether you thought the camera was off or not, because this is all the excuses that they keep making for this pervert. And I'm going to use the terminology. I'm going to just say it like it is. The man is a pervert. You're in a staff meeting. It is going on. People are having conversations about, obviously, supposedly things that are important to your line of work. And you would turn your camera and your microphone off and choose that point in time to pleasure yourself. Why? And now and he was excused for a minute. I mean, I didn't see a single video or a single comment or a single tweet from Alyssa Milano and the Me Too crowd about Jeffrey Tubin. That last name just leaves so many open doors for inappropriateness, and I'm going to resist. Pleasuring himself during a staff meeting. Granted, it's on Zoom. Granted, he's in his kitchen. And he thinks everything is off. That is no excuse. Why would we excuse this kind of behavior and put him back on the air? And then, are you freaking kidding me? They put him back on the air with a female anchor as his first time back, who happened to be in the meeting, who witnessed everything, and how is that not sexual harassment? How is that not inappropriate? Are you freaking kidding me? How is it? I mean, and again, when guys on the right do this, I did not give Ted Cruz a pass, even though the excuses were, one of my interns was looking at Twitter and was looking at pornography on Twitter and happened to either like or share a video on Ted Cruz's official account. I didn't give him a pass. I mean, okay. But this guy, there's no excusing what he did. But yet, here's the deal. People on the left are just going to, if this were done by someone on the right, he would be absolutely canceled, never to be seen again. This guy is a leftist. He works in their worldview. And so, after a period of time, these people would re-elect Al Franken if he ran again, after having admittedly groped women in pictures and stuff like that. Under the excuse, well, it's comedy. I'm a comedian. It's comedy. It's funny. It's blah, blah, blah. You would never, here's my thing, consistency. That's always been what I've talked about. If you're going to be this way against people on one side, you have to be that way with the people on your own side, and I do the same thing. That is my attempt is to always be hashtag stay balanced. Right? Kurt Kennedy took that from him. But you can't. I mean, you can't give me a reason, any reason why this guy is put back. I mean, he should just be gone. Really. I mean, I'm not a fan of cancel culture and so on, but this man, that is sexual harassment, whether it was intentional or not, and he should be fired and put somewhere where he does not ever enter into the public view again. And I would make that claim for anybody on the right. I mean, I didn't vote for Trump because of the locker room talk. And I maintained that throughout his entire, and it was a reason I didn't vote for him again in the 2016 election, or the 2020 election. Because my moral standards have not changed over that 4 years, and Trump gave me no indication that he had repented of what he had said. So I stayed where I was in the stance that I took initially and did not vote for him a second time. Why is it that the left can't give us the same consideration with perverts like this? Are you freaking kidding me? And now, Canada. Yes, I'm looking at you, Canada. I'm going to make you people mad again. My one super faithful and always there subscriber, always making comments, always this and that, who got mad about my last podcast about Canada and unsubscribed is gone. So I don't know if I have any other Canadians that I can upset. But what is the problem? Are you freaking kidding me? So Pastor Tim Stevens gets arrested because he's having church services in his church and violating health orders, violating the Queen's order or whatever they called it. And he was arrested in front of his family before. You got other pastors that are arrested on the highway by a SWAT team. And now, okay, so we can't meet in our church building. They went out into the open, into a secluded area, apparently in the open air, and had a church service. And the story that I read, and I hope that I'm putting this right. They followed him in a helicopter. And then they came to his house and arrested him again. And I'm going to make you watch the video. And this video made me cry. Listening to this man's children cry as police officers take him away. The only thing I can say that I'm happy is that they didn't put him in handcuffs. They just let him sit back down in the car and he got to hold his kids' hands again and stuff like that.
I'm Sos here for Rebel News, and I'm outside of the home of Pastor Tim Stevens. Pastor Tim was once again taken into custody. Numerous police vehicles arrived and put him in a car, taking him away from his families. It was an extremely emotional and harrowing ordeal, and we were there to capture it as it happened. I'm going to let you go now to the footage of his arrest.
You were served, okay, and then you had that gathering on June the 6th. Yeah. Okay, so that's what you're under arrest for.
Any avenues for you guys to question orders, or do you always that have told us?
This is his wife asking questions. Do you never question the orders you're given?
No other jurisdiction is imprisoning pastors for public.
I'm not going to speak to that, okay?
In Canada.
Okay.
Only Alberta.
I would say continue the course that you're continuing on. Push further ahead, push harder if you need to, and that's all
How
I can
much
tell you.
harder can we push here?
I don't know how far
Will
you've
you
gotten.
arrest me and take me away from them too?
I have no reason to arrest you, right? So I'm going to leave it at that, okay?
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, guys.
How heartbreaking is that? for having a church service in the open air.
Okay, guys, step back, please.
Can you guys share maybe why Jason Kenney gets a free pass and you're arresting pastors across the province? Any comment, any emotion for this family whatsoever? No, you're just going to drive off just like that. Is this why you became a police officer?
It's a great question. This is a great question. Are you freaking kidding me, Canada? Come on. So, I mean, I've always maintained and said that, you know, in this part of the world, in the Western world where we live, I mean, the persecution against the Christian church is nowhere near the same as it is for those who are dying and being kidnapped and stuff like that in Kenya, Nigeria, China, North Korea, all those other places. I do a podcast every other week and every day through the month of November that breaks down persecution around the world. And you cannot tell me that this is not persecution. We just saw a video a couple weeks ago of an imam in a park having a service with his mosque, apparently, telling them that they have to hate Christians and Jews. This man goes and takes his church to continue to minister to him, which is what he has been called to do by God, into the woods, somewhere that is secluded, somewhere that is away out in the open, and has a church service because they told him and they arrested him because they met in their church building, which again, I don't get. Does Canada own that building? What gives them the right to shut down a privately owned church building? Because I'll tell you what, American government, come try to take Refuge Church. Come try to lock down our building. See how many men meet you at the front door, armed, ready to resist tyranny. But the Canadian government just seems they can come in and take a privately owned building and shut it down, force the congregation to meet out in the open, and then arrest the pastor again? Are you freaking kidding me? Guess who's going to be the subject of my next Fifth Seal podcast next Wednesday, a week from yesterday, coming up. Watch it, episode 39, I believe. This is wrong. I don't know who this Kenny dude that they were talking about was that apparently got a pass, but Tim Stevens is arrested again. If it's not targeted persecution of Christians in Alberta. I don't know. I'm speechless to watch this. I am heartbroken to hear these children crying. All I can think about is if my daughter were the same thing. You know, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when I took my daughter out to the abortion mill with me and was waiting for the police officer, I was willing to back down because I was not going to be put in handcuffs in front of my daughter. But the last week, and I've got a video that I'll be posting soon, of when the police officer did show up, I was on my amplified microphone. I turned around, I spoke to him. He told me I couldn't use it. I told him this is what the law is and this is the law we are going by, and yes, I can use it. And before he drove away, I turned around, turned my mic back on, and went back to it. And had he come and put me in handcuffs, I would have willingly gone. Because my daughter wasn't there. And I would have been happy to, on video, on GoPro, been handcuffed and taken away for something that is not against the law, which is what Pastor Stevens keeps doing, but they're doing it in front of his kids. And I can't, my heart breaks to hear them cry when their dads are taken away. The same as it would if my daughter was making the same cries. Are you freaking kidding me, Canada? I don't know. I got nothing. Again, all I can do is to say what I always say. And that is, if we want to see this change, if we want to see something different, then we've got to be willing to go out there and evangelize. People need to get saved, because that's how officers like that are going to question the orders that they're given and do things differently and tell the authorities, no, we will not do this. It's if their heart is changed, if they're transformed by the renewing of their mind through repentance and faith in Jesus Christ. And the only way they're going to get that is if we go out and, as always, preach the gospel at all times, use words, they are necessary, and when necessary, use amplification. Till next time, Soli Deo Gloria.